I believe it was I who said about 3 months ago. I'm sure if you've made it this far in the video, the phrase educate yourself has popped into your mind. And my response to anyone with that phrase in their mind is, how am I supposed to educate myself about you if you're not willing to tell me who you are? It's a two-way street. And I'm willing to listen to learn who individuals are and how they want to be treated and how they want to be referred to as, because you're a human being and you want to be respected, just like how I want to be respected, just how anyone on this earth wants to be respected. And I'm not against you being who you are. I just want to know who you are. And for the people that are willing to tell me, I'm always a listening ear. And for the people who sat through 2 minutes and called me a transphobe and left and wrote some paragraph or made a tweet or said something about me, fuck you too, because you're pointless to talk to. I don't know why people still don't understand the concept of saying, hey, this is who I am. These are the things I identify as. You could either call me that or we can never speak to each other ever again. It's weird that so many people expect others who don't know anything about their social media presence or anything about them at all to expect them to know, hey, I go by all these different pronouns. Hey, I'm this sexuality. Hey, I transferred to this gender and I am this thing now. It is funny for all of us to just laugh at libs of TikTok and the things that they post about all these people identifying as deers, ants, its, shits, zers, and zigums, but ultimately everybody doesn't know each other. So it would be smart to introduce yourself to others so that you don't have to deal with the conflict of dealing with somebody who won't comprehend and understand that you go by these things, or dealing with somebody who will outright ignore you after the introduction even happens. So if you're not going to do that, shut the fuck up about all these people not knowing and respecting your pronouns. It's just that simple. It only took me 5 seconds to do. There was an 80-year-old woman who got in trouble and banned from a pool because she saw a transgender looking at a bunch of little girls undressing and saying, hey, do you have a penis? Get up out of here. And they told the staff about it, and the staff said, you're being discriminatory. You're banned from here. And now there's this big uproar. And the one thing I agree with the 80-year-old on is that there should be some indicator about who's in the bathroom or what bathrooms or what, because they only got the male and the female bathrooms.
Yes, please. Approach the podium, state your name and where you live for the record.
George Long on the Quinpool Peninsula, and I'm here because I had an experience that you need to know. I have sent it to you all in detail. In an effort by the city and the YMCA to apply the neocultural gender rules at Mountain View Pool, dressing shower room facilities, women and children are being put at risk. My experience while showering after my swim was hearing a man's voice in the women's dressing area and seeing a man in a women's swimsuit watching little girls pull down their bathing suits in order to use the toilets in the dressing room. I reacted by telling him to leave, and the consequence is that I have been banned from the pool. There is no signage informing women the shower room is now all gender and what that means. Nor have parents been informed of what they can expect with these new policies. The Y has not provided any dressing shower room options for women who do not want to be exposed to men who identify as women. It is unconscionable that the YMCA would instigate these new policies without clearly informing pool patrons and parents. Although in 2021, the Y reported that they were adding family and all gender dressing and bathing areas, they've not done that. Instead, they've usurped the binary designations and turned the facilities into all gender with no choices. The staff seems to have received little professional training on how to handle reactions to such a radical cultural change, particularly for the most vulnerable, older female patrons and children who may be exposed to inappropriate behavior, the dignity and safety of unsuspecting women who have trusted to use these facilities for many years. This is not right. The YMCA, the city, the police and sheriffs, the parents, the professionals who assist victims of voyeurism, peeping toms, pedophilia, and assault need to come together to figure out how to make the new policies work for all pool patrons, not just one group. How to keep children who are less able to discriminate safe. It is ironic that women who discriminate when a situation threatens their safety or their children, a message from our ancestors, are now accused of discrimination as if they have made someone else a victim. We need to do much more intelligent and wise about applying the rules and developing policies that are respectful and inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we need to keep it orderly in here, please. Would anyone like to speak at this point in time?
And guess what? Her being confused and outraged at a grown person that looks like a man eyeing a bunch of little girls, when we have instances of people doing that and them being people who don't belong in a room full of children exist, I don't know why anybody would look at this woman and say, hey, you're being discriminatory, when you have examples of that and people getting pissy that they get called out to the point where they got to protest in defense of a fucking sex offender. I understand that you got to try so hard to make sure everybody's respected and make sure everybody's cared for. But as I've said for like the past week, everybody can't be saved. It's okay to look at a situation and question it and make sure that the victims or the potential victims are thought of the most. Because honestly, if I'm in that situation as a 23-year-old and I'm watching somebody who looks like a man eye a bunch of little girls as they're undressing, of course I'm going to have a problem with that. Of course I'm going to ask the question, and once I understand the context, of course I'm going to either back off or pressure this person, because I don't know why they're in the woman's bathroom. I don't know why I would be in the woman's bathroom either, but I'm just creating the scenario where I'm a woman and I have to see something like that. You have to understand, there are straight women, cisgendered women, heterosexual women, whatever the fuck you want to call them, that have concerns about people who are transgender women going into bathrooms that are significantly for women. And yes, the alternative option, the pie in the sky reality, is to say, make a transgender bathroom. And yes, it's going to cost money. No shit. But you would have less of these weird issues taking place if that option was available. And guess what? No amount of anybody saying, oh, just create them and make them cheap like this dumb fat woman did with airplanes last week is going to do anything about it. It's going to cost money. It's going to take time. And if you're going to sit there and say, oh, that's stigmatizing against all these people who just want to be respected, you will at least have to admit the obvious fear that a woman has when they are introduced to somebody who could be a problem in a space that is significant to women. And if you're not going to do that, at least have the fucking decency to say, hey, I'm a transgender. I identify as a woman. I am currently heading into the bathroom, not looking to seek harm. And I know somebody's going to say, oh, well, that's a little bit too much there, Leon. Guess what? Does anybody else have an idea? Because I gave you the simple ones. They could go in the bathroom for the males and they could come up with an article saying how they're stigmatized and bullied when they go in the male bathroom. They could go in the women's bathroom and say we're stigmatized and bullied in the women's bathroom. And at that point, once you do all that, my only suggestion, piss outside, because I can't deal with any of this stupid shit anymore. If you're not going to acknowledge the fear that a woman has, why should anybody care about the discriminating actions of somebody who's concerned about a transgender woman? If you can't have all these conversations at the round table, fuck it, let everybody deal how they deal, because at the end of the day, nobody is going to understand unless we all start talking, unless we all start having the uncomfortable conversations. We're not going to get anywhere. I do not care about you people in the corner standing over everybody saying, oh my God, you're nothing but a transphobe. How dare you say all these things? Because you're not helping the conversation. You're hurting the conversation. Your pointless emotional babble is not going to get anything done. It's just going to make more people who aren't paying attention pay attention and say, look at all those weirdos over there yelling because somebody thought differently. It doesn't help get the ball moving. And if you want it to move, guess what? You're going to have the conversation that makes you uncomfortable. You're going to have to listen to other people who think differently from you, and you're going to have to understand everybody don't think the same. Everybody doesn't have the same mindset. Everybody didn't grow up in the same backyard. Everybody is different. And if you're not going to address the concerns an 80-year-old woman has, and if you're just going to ban her, guess what? You're going to have more and more people sticking up for that lady, more people not really gathering all the information, and more people just yelling a bunch of buzzwords. Why? Because a bunch of people didn't want to have a conversation. They just wanted to call foul and have a reaction. So subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.